speak about what we do when we look at redeployment is with data analysis, crime analysis. We certainly have a handle on where we need our resources, and then we'll make decisions on staffing based on where those people, the 78 that are taken from Tavis, are redeployed back into the field.
And maybe one question on neighborhoods. There are neighborhoods that are going to bridge two police divisions. How will that be addressed in neighborhood security or policing as well?
Okay, so before I hand the mic to Scott McKean, so traditionally the Toronto Police, we operate via 17 divisions, right? And that information was, those boundaries were based on a lot of information, a lot of crime-related information, demand for service. Through the Transformational Task Force, we've kind of taken a step back and said, okay, what would it look like if we were to actually align ourselves with the City of Toronto neighborhoods? You know, Scott will talk about what information went into making those neighborhoods. So realistically, when the Transformational Task Force got put together in January, it was a whiteboard approach. It was a blank slate approach to policing in Toronto. It was a rebuilding kind of effort. So when Suzanne Walsh talks about neighborhood officers, and you're right, we do have a neighborhood officer program today. We do. However, the future of that should evolve into a much broader approach to the neighborhood officer program, right? Working with the City of Toronto to say, okay, these neighborhoods were identified for a bunch of amazing different reasons, and a lot of really great metrics went into that. So how can we then embed officers into those neighborhoods? So forget about the traditional boundary lines, right? Yeah, because you're right. Today, one neighborhood might touch two different divisions. But in the future, that might not necessarily be the case, right? So I'm going to now turn it over to Scott.
Hello, everyone. My name is Scott McKean, and I do community development and safety work here at the city. I work for the City of Toronto, and I've worked with a number of you in the room, and it's great to see the St. Stephen's people here, and Miguel, and all the region people, Sherburne, Nunda. So I'm going to just talk about a few things quickly. When it comes to neighborhood selection, so we have a strategy inside the City of Toronto called the Toronto Strong Neighborhood Strategy. And to develop that strategy, what we did is we used a health and well-being monitoring tool. And basically we looked at the health and well-being of all 140 neighborhoods across the city. The city is divided into neighborhoods specifically for social planning purposes. So many moons ago, our council approved that we adopt 140 neighborhoods in the city. And that allows us at the city to look at what's happening in the neighborhoods and being able to monitor what's happening at the local level. And so when we looked at the health and well-being of the 140 neighborhoods, we looked at 5 areas. We looked at economic opportunities, the physical surroundings in those neighborhoods, the population health, the economic opportunities that are there in the neighborhoods, and then we looked at residents' ability to participate in decision-making within those neighborhoods. And so to be able to do that, we had a whole long list of indicators, and we had to look at data that was available from every one of those neighborhoods. And similar to this process, we talked to neighborhoods across the city. So we talked to thousands and thousands of residents, and we ran this tool, and that helped us determine the neighborhoods. So when we ran this tool that we have, we identified that 31 of the neighborhoods were considered to be below what is an equity benchmark. So you heard over here someone talking about neighborhood improvement areas. So we identified 31 neighborhood improvement areas. And so we developed a strategy that services all neighborhoods that has special attention on those 31. So what Toronto Police is doing is looking at how do they best align with all 140 neighborhoods, because they service the entire 2.7 million people that live here, and how do they modify their service to make sure that there are readily accessible and available officers on the ground in those neighborhoods who are your point people for service delivery. And so that's how it connects into city services.
What about businesses? Are they part of the evaluation process?
Yeah, so economic opportunities was one of the main factors in looking at the health and well-being of neighborhoods. And as part of the Toronto Strong Neighborhood Strategy, all city divisions have been tasked with looking at how do they really modify their services to have specialized service delivery in neighborhoods that are in need. And so economic development and culture, which is one of the divisions in the city, where that's where the business improvement associations are run out of, they have a special position now that's looking at business development in the neighborhood improvement areas. So that, economics business was one of the domains that we selected our neighborhoods from. While I have the mic, I'm just going to take 2 quick seconds because I think I really got a lot out of being here today. So first of all, thank you for that. But I heard a lot of questions about police oversight, and I know that there's been a couple of mentions about the process that's going on. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that this Thursday, which is November 10th at Metro Hall in room 310 at 6 p.m. is the police oversight consultation. And so this has to do with the Special Investigations Unit. It has to do with the Office of Independent Police Review Director, and it has to do with the governing civilian bodies that oversee those groupings. They're actually evaluating police oversight. So I heard some questions about complaints. I heard some questions about what to do when, if an officer assaults someone in the complaint process and the services available for them. This Thursday night at Metro Hall, there's a discussion specifically about that. So I encourage you to, if not attend, tell your friends. Thank you.
Thanks, Scotty.